know about fossils or rock layers? Yeah.
Fossils can help, like fossils are like old creatures and also like old plants.
Old plants and old
Observed
creatures.
by like giant and water systems.
Yeah. Really good. Yeah, you do.
Plants or animals usually react when they get stuck in tar or mud.
Yeah.
They get it out, and then over years it begins to harden the cells into stone.
Yeah.
Like rock layers that didn't have materials before light. Not that can make them go down or hard ones that
That's right. Good. Yeah, you guys know some stuff. We're going to talk a little bit more about it. But first I'm going to start with some vocab words, okay? So if everybody can turn your paper over for me, we're going to write this definition on your paper, okay? We're going to be talking about geological history. Does anybody know what geology is? Yeah,
the study of the world,
study of the world. Yeah, what do you mean by the world?
like what it looks like, what's in it.
Yeah, like the earth and what the earth is. That's great. So geological history is the history of the earth shown through rocks and soil, or fossils, sorry. So that's what I want you guys to write down, okay? The history of the earth shown through rocks and fossils. Give me a thumbs up when you guys have written down. Okay, so what we're going to do today is look at something called a core sample. Now, we don't have actual core samples of rocks. What they do for a core sample is they drill hundreds of feet down into the earth and they pull out big samples of rocks that have lots of different layers in them and lots of different types of rock in there. We don't have actual giant things full of rocks, so we're going to pretend a little bit. But we're going to look at some core samples today. Tessa, would you like to help me pass this yourself? I'll take care. All right, so before we touch anything in our bins, our hands should be out right now. I want to show you guys what this core sample is, okay? So we've got some different layers of stuff down in there. And what I want you guys to do on your worksheets, we've got a couple of questions to answer. Write down your observations. What do you see? Which layer do you think is the oldest? Which one do you think is the newest? Why do you think those things? You guys can talk with your groups and take some time to write down on your worksheets, okay? All right, go for it.
We can look at it too. Okay, there's
No, not yet.
you figured out the second layer.
All right, friends, let's bring it back, okay? I want to talk about some of our findings. So if you guys could do me a favor and place your cup back in your bin with your magnifying glasses. Can somebody share some of their observations with me? What did you observe? Yeah, he did.
That the bottom layer should be like the oldest
Yeah, why do you think that?
because it's on the bottom and it's like got covered up by everything.
I covered up my things, okay. Yeah, Dan.
It's more packed together and because more layers have been stacked on top of it over the years.
Interesting. Anybody come up with any other conclusions? Yeah, Morgan.
Mine is kind of like these ones. But the bottom layer is gonna be the oldest because just stack up after time. It could still stack up.
Did it? What do you think again? Is that what you thought? No. Anybody have any other conclusions that they came to?
So the youngest layer is the rocks because they're more rough and when things are over there for a while.
Can anybody share some of their observations with me? What did you see?
I think that powdered stuff is dry.
She thinks the powdered stuff is dry. It won't rest. Yeah, Lane?
I put that on the bottom. I think is some sand.
Interesting.
A little blue in it.
Yeah, a little blue in it. Tessa? You saw a fossil in your core sample? Okay. All right, any other last observations? Yeah, Noah.
That there are 3 layers, possibly 4, because we saw maybe some like fossils at the very bottom, but I think that would be part of the bottom.
Okay. So, when we're looking at rock layers, I'm going to show you guys a picture on the screen here. So, this is an example, if everybody can look eyes on the board real quick, this is an example of different rock layers in the earth. So we had, like our core sample, this is kind of what a core sample might look like. And these layers down on the bottom are going to be the oldest because the earth started out there and then maybe there was a landslide or other mountains moved on top over millions and millions of years. Earth got covered up into all these different layers. Now, when we're looking at layers that were under the ocean and pressed down by water, those are layers of sediment. Have you guys ever heard the word sediment before? Yeah, so sediment is like dirt and sand and rocks, all that stuff all smushed together. And over time, the pressure presses down and compresses it into rock, which is called sedimentary rock. And you might see different layers of materials in sedimentary rock like this. And sometimes pieces of rock over time will cut through. So this down here might not be the same type of rock as this, but you can tell that it's not as old because it came from up here, right? So we have our oldest layers and our newest layers right on top. It's kind of like when you make a sandwich. So you put a piece of bread on the bottom, right? And then you put on your meat and your cheese and your lettuce and your tomatoes, and then you put your bread on top, right? So which is the first thing that you put down? The bread on bottom, right? And what's the last thing you put down? The bread on top, right? So the bread on bottom is your oldest layer because it got put down first, and the bread on top is your newest layer because it got put down last. And that's how it is with rocks. Now, if I were to look in some real core samples that we found, what do you think might be hidden in those rocks? Do you have any ideas? Yeah, Ethan. Fossils. Huh?
Dinosaurs still alive.
Dinosaurs still alive? Maybe. Yeah, Morgan.
Maybe like insects.
Insects. Okay, yeah. So today we're going to talk also about fossils. So who can tell me what a fossil is? Yeah, like the shell of a snail. Any other thoughts on what a fossil is? Eden?
Like a bone.
A bone. Yep. There you go, John. Yeah, Vance.
Like a solidified plant or animal.
A solidified plant or animal. That's right. So what we're going to do is move on our worksheet, and you guys are going to see 3 more questions. In your bins, don't touch yet. In your bins, you have another cup that you've probably noticed that has a fossil in it. And so I want you guys to take that out and use your magnifying glasses. We're not touching it. We're not touching it. Take it out when I tell you to, and use your magnifying glasses. And I want you to observe. I want to write down your observations. What are the characteristics or properties of your fossil? What are things that you see? How do you think the fossil was formed? So take a look at those next 2 questions under core sample observations, okay? And I want you guys to work with your groups and talk about it, okay? All right, go for it.
You read it?
Why do I know that? Not yet. Yes, she did. Yeah, but like before.
You got to.